Okay mga students, pagpatuloy po natin yung ating nasimulang part 1 ng impairment of assets. Let us continue on. Okay, now, on the previous slide, okay, sa previous video lecture, I presented to you this as the last slide, no, before we took a short break. So once again, let me remind everyone that kung sakali man, meron po tayong reversal ng impairment loss, dapat hindi po yun lalagpas doon sa original carrying amount kung sakaling hindi natin ni-recognize yung impairment loss. So yun yung ating determination ng limit. Because in excess of that, no, ay kino-consider natin, well, depending if we are using the cost model or revaluation model. Pag cost model tayo, ignore natin yon, pero pag revaluation model, we consider it as a revaluation increase na itatakal po natin sa pamamagitan nitong ating mga illustrations. Okay, so kaya pinutol ko din ito kasi medyo may kahabaan, especially in properly understanding the flow of the amounts. And I presented this by way of creating a graph para makita po ninyo in visual yung graph, no, yung line ng ating carrying amount. Okay. So this is your illustration 3, pero meron po tayong continuation doon sa ating illustration. And this is your first scenario. So again, yung cost ng ating equipment ay 2.4, ang accumulated depreciation mo ay 600,000. Okay? So 1 point, ilan na nga ulit 'to? 1.8 yung ating carrying amount, and then ang fair value less cost to sell mo ay 1.1, yung value in use ay 1.2, ito yung ating recoverable amount, no? Then meron tayong 600,000 na impairment loss previously recognized. Okay, now let us assume that 2 years after, although walang nakalagay dito anong specific date. O pero siyempre, given na yan that after 2 years dapat yung depreciation mo madadagdagan, so bababa ang carrying amount mo. Okay? So given naman dito yung remaining useful life, no, para malaman natin magkano dapat yung annual depreciation mo. So 2 years after recording the initial impairment, in-evaluate po ulit yung asset, and it was found out na yung recoverable amount niya ngayon ay 900,000. Nanggaling na tayo dito sa 1.2, bababa ngayon ng 900,000. Tama ba? Pero we will see if that is correct. So class, now I want you to pause this video para bago ninyo ito ituloy, no, in properly studying this topic. I want you to be hands-on on the computation. Okay, so you can pause for you to compute first and then play it in case, no, kailangan po natin ng confirmation. Okay, so in the analysis, this is now your updated carrying amount. 1.2 ka na, di ba? And then from 1.2 divided by 6. So meron tayong 200,000 na annual depreciation. 200,000 times 2 years, kasi 2 years na yung naglapse, di meron ka ngayong accumulated depreciation, additional na 400. So, although dito, previous carrying amount and accumulated depreciation for the last 2 years tayo. Pero hindi po yan yung ating cost at saka yung total accumulated depreciation, ha. We only use this as a reference para ma-determine magkano na dapat ang carrying amount ko ngayon. Okay? So, ngayon, ang carrying amount mo ay 800,000. Tama ba? Yung recoverable amount mo ay 900,000. So meron kang increase ngayon 100,000 sa value ng asset. Kasi your carrying amount is 800, ang recoverable amount mo is 900,000. Meron tayong impairment loss? Wala. Because your carrying amount is less than your recoverable amount. Pero ano po ba ang magiging treatment natin dito sa increment, no, sa increase na 100? I-ignore po ba natin yan or papaano po ba ang gagawin kung meron man? Okay, now, balikan natin yung carrying amount, no? Kung susundin po natin itong original case na 2.4 na merong kanang accumulated depreciation na 600,000. Okay. If we will continue on with this, 1.8 million ang previous carrying amount mo. Kung yan po ay i-divide natin sa remaining life na 6 years, 1.8 divided by 6, dapat ang annual depreciation mo ay 300,000. Tama po ba? Again, 1.8 million divided by 6. So, 300. Dalawang taon na depreciation, if we are to follow the original, di 600,000 ang additional, meron ka ngayong 1.2 na carrying amount. Okay? 1.8 minus 6, 1.2. Magkano ba ang current na carrying amount mo ngayon? 900,000 at 800,000. Yung recoverable amount mo ay 900,000. So from 8 paakyat ng 1.2, well, sapat-sapat naman yun, ano? Hindi naman tayo umabot ng 1.2. Ang recoverable amount mo lang naman ay 900. So, yung 100,000 na increase sa value ng asset, pwede po nating i-consider as an impairment gain or reversal of previously recognized impairment loss. So, etong 100,000 nasa P&L as gain, no? On impairment reversal. Paano ang journal entry natin dyan? Ganito. Okay? Debit, accumulated depreciation, and credit, recovery of previous impairment loss or pwedeng impairment gain. Now, kailangan nating tandaan kung ang impairment loss in-apply natin sa accumulated depreciation, kung merong recovery, bawasan mo din. Okay? Ang iyong accumulated depreciation. Therefore, we will debit this one. O kasi ano, kung ginawan po natin ito ng graph, ito yung ating original, no, yung kulay blue, na every year merong kadapat 300,000 na depreciation. So, end of year 2, dapat 1.2 million ang carrying amount mo. Kaso, based on your revalued amount, no, 1.2, ngayon 800 ka na pero naging 900. So, nagtumaas ng konti yung value. Pero hanggang dito ka lang, syempre, kung magkano yung recoverable amount. So, syempre, in this case, ang reversal mo will be 100,000. Recognize at the full. Kasi it does not exceed your carrying amount had we not recognized any impairment loss in the past. So, yun yung tinutukoy sa atin ng standard. So, walang problema. Pwede po nating i-recognize at the full amount yung 100K. Okay. Now, let's have another scenario. Papaano kung 2 years after, ito lang ang pinalitan natin ha, yung recoverable amount mo ngayon ay naging 1,250,000. So, kung babalikan natin ito, ang carrying amount mo ay 1.2, ngayon lumagpas ka. So, papaano po ang magiging treatment? And then the related journal entry. Since lumagpas ka doon sa original, so ganito ang mangyayari dyan. Siyempre, 450 yung increase, di ba? From 800, okay, magiging 1,250, 450 yung total na increase sa value ng asset. Pero maire-recognize ba natin itong buo? Okay? The answer is, we will see. Although dito nakalagay, no, yung impairment reversal mo 400,000. Bakit? Okay, following our graph, pinakita natin ang carrying amount mo dapat 1.2. So, ang limit mo lamang ay itong 1.2. Therefore, yung reversal mo ay from 800 to 1.2, 400,000 lang. Yung 50,000 ay i-disregard po natin. So, excess, not recognized if you are using the cost model. So, in this case, let us assume that our illustration follows the cost model for subsequent measurement. Okay? So, hanggang dito lamang po tayo, no? Asan na yun? So, eto kasama po, eto dapat, no, yung ating 1.2 million. Okay? Nagkulang eh. So, kung lalagyan natin ito ng annotation, sagad po natin ito yung linya, no? Medyo na OC lang ako. Hanggang ganyan dapat. Okay? So, ayan po ano. Now, let us continue. So, ang journal entry mo, ganito lang din. Pinalitan lang natin yung amount, pero hindi at the full na 450. Alright. Next. Ito no, just an alternative computation as presented in the book. So, yung initial impairment loss na na-recognize 600. So, kung sakali man, di ba? Yung 600, okay, ganito. Yung recovered through lower depreciation after impairment. Sandali, burahin lang natin itong ano, no, annotation dito. Okay. Now, depreciation without impairment mo, 600. Depreciation with impairment, 200. So, may difference ka na 100,000. Eh, naglaps na yung 200. So, parang sinasabi natin doon sa impairment loss na 600, parang 200 dito, hindi mo na ma-recover because of the passage of time. Okay? So, ang recovery limit mo lang ay itong 400K. Okay? Ayan. Next. Susunod. Ito, illustration number 4. Oh, meron tayong heavy equipment, 1.8 million. Accumulated depreciation mo, 900,000. So, ang carrying amount mo ngayon ay 900,000. Okay? That are carried at a revalued amount and depreciated using straight line method. Ang revaluation surplus ay 300,000. Now, yung revaluation was made in 2017, year end, na, at which time the revalued amount was 1.2, okay? And the remaining useful life ay 8 years during December 31, 2017. Now, based on the memorandum records daw of the enterprise, okay, yung acquisition was cost yung equipment costs 1.2 million at yung accumulated depreciation based on cost ay 600,000 on December 31, 2019. So parang following yung original na acquisition cost tapos pag dinepreciate natin 'yan nasa 50% depreciated ka na by December 31, 2019 kasi nangalahati ka na. Tama ba? O kaya nga, 1.8 and 900,000, 50% depreciated na. Although ito ay revalued amount na. Okay. Yung residual value ay immaterial. So, ang sinasabi sa atin, di ba? Zero. The company uses the proportional method for the revaluation. So, just to recap lamang po as in the case of past 16, di ba? Property, plant, and equipment, meron kasi tayong proportional method at saka meron tayong elimination method. Pag elimination, tinatanggal natin yung accumulated depreciation, pero for proportional method, as is, nag-a-adjust na lang tayo sa accumulated and then sa equipment, okay? Tapos, kung mayroon tayong, if we are using revaluation model, di syempre, any difference ay considered as a revaluation surplus. Okay, tapos nagta-transfer daw piecemeal ng revaluation surplus sa retained earnings. So, parang nire-realize natin based on the remaining useful life kung magkano man yung revaluation surplus na initially ni-recognize natin. Yun nga lang, pagdating ng December 31, 2019, it was believed that by the company that the asset was impaired. Pero it will provide 6 years pa rin naman na economic benefit. So, anong gagawin natin dito? Again, you can pause the video so that you can solve on your own. Pero kung sakaling hindi ka confident at saka wala kang libro para basahin yon, edi syempre, you have to rely on this video lecture or some other resources. So, Let us have this scenario number 1. If the recoverable amount is determined to be 720,000, magkano impairment loss at papaano yung mga related computation? Okay? So, pause the video. Kung okay ka na, ito po yung ating solution. Considering this graph, no, ito yung original natin. So, kaya nga, by this 2019, okay, ang ating carrying amount ay 600,000. Diba? 1.2, tapos yung accumulated depreciation mo 600, yung carrying amount mo 600. Si revalued carrying amount naman 900,000, di ba? 1.8 less 900. So, yung naka-blue, yung original case, yung naka-red, ito yung revalued case. Pag sinusundan natin ito, class, ito yung ating reference for any recognition ng impairment loss and reversal subsequent to. Okay. O, sir, magkano yung recoverable amount natin sa problem? 720,000. So, kunwari, ito yung portion ng 720 kung nasaan yung aking pointer, no? So, nasaan tayo? Nandoon tayo sa 900,000. Ito yung reference lang natin. Okay? Alright? Para ma-consider natin, meron ba akong reversal ng revaluation or may i-recognize na ako na impairment. And subsequent to that, meron ba ako ng reversal ng impairment at may recognition ba ako ng new revaluation. Okay? So this is our reference point, yung kulay blue. So syempre, from the 900,000, pababa ng 720, hindi siya umabot dito sa original na 600. Therefore, any decrease from 900 to 720, which is 180,000, is considered as a revaluation decrease. So it will be applied against the balance of your revaluation surplus. Okay? So, di ba, ang revaluation surplus mo ay 300,000. Okay. So, is this within the limit, yung 180? The answer is yes, within the limit. Now, kung titignan po ninyo ito, no? Pag gumagawa tayo ng proportional, di ba? Ito yung presentation. Meron kang before, meron kang after. Okay? So, nag-decrease yung cost mo. Sir, saan galing yung 1.44? Kasi yung given natin, di ba? Recoverable amount, 720. Okay? Since this is 50% depreciated, di syempre, yung carrying amount mo ngayon na 720 ay 50% depreciated na rin yung cost. So therefore, times 2 mo lang yon para makuha natin. Ito kasi hindi given, no? 1,440,000 at saka yung 720. Pero makukuha naman natin yon kasi we have this information. 50% depreciated na. O hindi naman pwedeng mag-iba yan ng percentage. So therefore, we will just mirror the percentage and get this 1.44 and 720 accordingly. So comparing the amounts na, meron ka ng decline. 360 sa cost, 180 sa accumulated depreciation, at may decline ka, no? Revaluation decrease na 180. Okay? Kung babalikan po ninyo yung ating presentation, discussion sa revaluation under my PPE, no, past 16 discussions sa revaluation model, may dalawang percentages, di ba? And if I'm not mistaken, doon sa ating reference na material sa book nila Dean Empleo and Prof. Robles, yung percentage na nire-refer nila is ito, no? Yung decrease, yung difference ng 900 sa 720. Ito. Okay. Now, para naman makuha yung decrease or increase. Kung sakali man, it's the other way around. But you can do either, no? Pwedeng ito yung percentage or pwedeng ito yung as a percentage. So from here, yung decrease, dahil naka-negative, di syempre, nabawasan yung revaluation surplus mo because this is within the limit of 300. So recognize in full. Debit, accumulated depreciation, debit, and credit equipment for 360,000. Ayan po, ano? class, please don't take this for granted at wag masyadong petics dito because it may look like, okay, naiintindihan ko, pero you have to do it on your own. Kasi eto po, mas na-absorb if ikaw mismo ang gagawa. Pag tinitigan mo yan, naiintindihan mo nga, pero eventually baka hindi mo masolve dahil sa time pressure. Okay, kasi syempre, for problem solving, you cannot do this because of time constraint. So you have to use yung mga computations natin. You can verify if you have plenty of time, pwede ka namang gumawa ng graph. Okay? So that's it. Next. Ano to, sir? Oh, starting 2020, ang gusto lang nito sabihin kung ito na yung bago nating recoverable amount. So subsequent, no, ito na yung magiging ating linya ng carrying amount papunta sa zero. The residual value being immaterial. So in that case, parang ang sinasabi sa atin, every year, meron ka pong depreciation na 120,000. Kasi 720 ang iyong recoverable amount at ang natitirang useful life ay 6, di meron kang 120,000 taon-taon na i-depreciate. Okay? And then for piecemeal realization, since ang balanse ng iyong revaluation surplus ay 120 divided by 6 din, every year meron ka ring piecemeal realization na 20,000. So starting 2020 hanggang sa matapos, no, kung sakaling walang changes na, sagad na yan sa dulo. No, ito yung ating journal entries. Debit depreciation expense and credit accumulated depreciation for 120,000. And then, debit revaluation surplus, transfer to retained earnings, yung 20,000. So, magiging ganun po, no, yung ating journal entries. Okay, so it's more of a refresher, no, kasi this is not new knowledge. This was already taken up in past 16. Okay, now, proceed po tayo. Let's have a new setup, new scenario. What if all other information ay constant, the same, ang babaguhin natin is the recoverable amount na 540. Kanina, 720. O papaano ito ngayon? Bumaba, naging 540. Okay, so pause the video and try to do it on your own. Try to compute. Kung okay ka na, you are now ready to confirm, validate your answers, and listen to my discussion. So, ganito naman po ang mangyayari. If we are computing directly, this is your before, this is your after. Ito yung nabago kanina, magkano to? 720. Ngayon, 540 na. O di 50% depreciated, kaya ganito ang itsura. So, ito yung relevant info, decrease sa ating values. Ang cost mo 720 yung binaba from 1.8 naging 180. Ang accumulated depreciation mo bumaba ng 360. Ang decline sa iyong revaluation ay 360. Ang tanong, magkano ang revaluation natin na surplus? Di ba 300,000 yon? Okay? Yung difference, di ba? So, ang limit natin ay 300,000. Yung sobra-sobra ka sobra ka ng 60. Ano gagawin ko sa 60? Yung 60 class ngayon ay yung tinatawag na natin na impairment loss. So take note, ang accumulated depreciation mo at 360. Pero yung revaluation surplus, hindi mo pwedeng i-debit at 360,000 kasi nagpipiecemeal realization. Okay? Tapos ang balance niya as of that period ay 300,000. Given naman ito balance ng revaluation surplus. Okay? Alright? Susundan ba? And then, equipment mo, 720. Since 300 lang ito, kulang ka ng 60, impairment loss natin yan, nire-recognize. I hope we are making this computation clear. If you have questions, huwag mahihiya. So, moving forward, starting 2020, class, take note ang journal entry lang natin is yung annual depreciation, which is based na ngayon sa 540 divided by 6. Kasi eto na yung carrying amount mo na revise eh. Divided by 6, so 90,000 ang annual depreciation mo. Sir, nasaan yung piecemeal realization? The answer is, wala na po. Kasi na-consume yung buong 300,000 na balanse ng RS, dinebit, di ba? Eh yung normal balance ng revaluation surplus mo ay credit, nag-debit tayo dito, eh di zero na on December 31, 2019. O di wala na po tayong balanse, wala tayong ipipiecemeal realization. Okay? So, I hope I'm making myself clear. Now, wala na tayong ano ha, unlike dito no, sa previous na gumawa pa ako ng graph, pero try to make the graph on your own. Dito na kasi siya, 540, eh 600 lang yung limit natin. So, any decrease below the 600,000 limit is your impairment loss na. Kasi bumaba yung value. Yung recoverable amount mo, 540, eh yung original, no, na carrying amount, kung wala kang previous mga impairment, dapat nasa 600 ka ngayon. Okay? So, you try to make your own graph. So, proceed na po tayo sa illustration number 5. So, medyo related pa rin naman, yung cost mo, 1.2 million. Ang estimated useful life mo ngayon, 8 years. Straight line pa din, acquired on January 1, 2018. Take note of the dates na. The date and the amounts. Yung asset na ito ay na-revalue kailan? 2 years after. After the date of acquisition. So 2 years yan. At during that revaluation, yung fair value is deemed to be at 1.2 million na naman. 1.2 million din. Okay? So anong gagawin natin? Papaano po ito? Okay? Oh, please take note of the computation and the related journal entries. Ito po yung ating computation and analysis, no? That I hope before po ninyo play itong video ay kinumpute nyo muna or before ko nilipat sa slide na ito. Ang original mo 1.2. So on December 31, 2019, depreciated ka na ng 2 taon. Eh 8, tama ba? 8 years? 8 years ba ito? Okay, 8 years. So 1.2, magkano yon? Divided by 8, meron kang 150,000 na depreciation per year times 2. O di meron kang 300,000 na accumulated depreciation and therefore, yung carrying amount mo ay 900,000 as of December 31, 2019. Eh, nagkaroon tayo ng revaluation. The fair value is now deemed to be at 1.2 million. Plus yung fair value na yan is magkano yung carrying amount. Hindi po yung cost na reference natin. Dito po natin yon nilalagay kung magkano yung fair value. Okay? So, meron tayong increase ngayon na 300,000. Okay, so what do we do? Following the proportional method, you can see an increase naman of 400,000. Naglagay ako dito ng percentage, no? This amounts as a percentage of the cost. Okay? Pero if you are using this as the base at yung increase yung reference, no? Syempre, hindi ito yon. Ibang percentage yan. Okay? So let me just remind those who are following my computations that this percentage here refer to the vertical, hindi yung horizontal. Okay. So, meron dapat tayong i-recognize dito na revaluation surplus na 300,000. Take note, hindi po ito karugtong ng mga ibang illustrations. Bago po tayo dito, umpisa. So, meron kang increase sa equipment, 400. Increase sa accumulated depreciation, 100. Increase sa revaluation surplus na 300,000. Okay? Yung mga illustrations pala kasi natin, no, when we started this part 2 ay nakafocus sa revalued amount. Okay. I think that was what I forgot to mention kanina. Now, meron ka na ngayong 300,000, no? And then, subsequent, starting 2020, kung 1.2 million ito, divided by 6, ang annual depreciation mo na ngayon ay 200,000. Ang piecemeal realization mo ay 50,000. So, ito ang journal entry mo starting 2020. Of course, ito ay year-end adjustments na. Nasusundan ba? Now, let us proceed. Continue. On December 31, 2021, 2 years after, no, after this December 31, 2019, tinest for impairment yung asset at na-compute na yung fair value less cost to sell ay 500,000. O again, no need to get for the value in use. Okay? Kanina, yung ating tatlong minention doon, hindi naman kailangan na parehas makompute. Kung available yung isa, no need na yung isa. Kung available yung isa, no need na. No, especially yung una nating ano doon, 'di ba? Statement doon, kung mas malaki yung either sa value in use or yung fair value less cost of disposal ay mas malaki sa recoverable amount. Okay. Going back dito sa ating illustration, continuation. Ang recoverable amount mo ngayon based on the fair value less cost to sell ay 500K. Remaining useful life mo 4 na taon. So, pause the video. Definitely, you should. And then, play it. Assuming okay na siya, ito po ang ating computation. Ayan. Nanggagaling po tayo dito sa 1.2 million na carrying amount, di ba? Yung revalued amount na natin, di ba? Ito yun, 1.2. Pag in-update natin yan to consider additional 2 years of depreciation, sinasabi natin na 200,000, di ba? Ang annual depreciation natin, 2020 onwards. So, eto, since may changes ng 2021, yung depreciation mo na 200K applies only for 2020 and 2021. Since 2 taon, times 2. O kaya dito, makikita ninyo, yung accumulated depreciation natin ay 800,000 na. 400 plus 200 plus 200. Therefore, ang ating carrying amount ngayon ay 800,000. So at this point, we are 50% depreciated. So kung meron tayong revision at yung fair value ngayon based on fair value less cost to sell, no? I mean, yung recoverable amount natin based on FBLCD or FBLCS, 500,000. So following, applying this percentage, the 1 million ang cost, no? Tapos 500 yung accumulated depreciation. And therefore, you have this decrease. 600 sa decrease sa asset, 300 decrease sa accumulated depreciation, at meron kang decrease na 300,000 sa revaluation. Now, pagbabalikan natin yung original, 'di ba? From magkano ito? Balikan natin ha. Ito, ang revaluation surplus mo ay 300,000. Okay. Now, tignan po ninyo ito. Kung ang revaluation surplus mo on December 31, 2019 ay 300,000 at meron tayong piecemeal realization 2 taon, 300 divided by 6, 50,000 times 2, 100,000 na yung na-realize at nailipat na po ito sa retained earnings. Di dapat, ang balanse ng iyong revaluation surplus on that date na tested for impairment yung asset, 200,000 na lang. Okay? Tama po ba? Okay? So, kasi binawas na natin yung na-realize. Now, ito po yung ating magiging journal entry. Kung 200,000 na lang yung realization, yung revaluation surplus at may decrease ka na 300, hindi po natin pwedeng i-debit yung revaluation surplus at the amount of 300,000 kasi 200 na lang yung balanse. Hindi po pwede na mag-debit yung revaluation surplus. So, since sagad na po na i-zero na natin yung revaluation surplus because of this debit entry, O yung debit dyan for the difference between 300 and 200 is considered as your impairment loss. Nakukuha po ba? And then yung 600, 300, ito sila. Accumulated depreciation in your credit to equipment. And starting 2022, since 500,000 na lang yan at 4 years yung natitira, ang depreciation mo ay 125,000. At although dito ko na ilagay, nakahiwalay, no? Wala po tayong piecemeal realization starting 2022 kasi na zero na po natin yung revaluation surplus. Okay? So class, no? Dito, although we are talking about recognizing and measurement and impairment loss, nakasama na rin po dito yung mga reversal. Okay? Sa ating discussion. So, I hope, no, nasundan po ito. Now, last. Additional, 2 taon. Nag-test na naman ng impairment at yung asset fair value ay 350,000. Siyempre, 2 taon na yung 2 taon na yung nag-expire, 2 taon na lang ang natitira. So ano naman yung magiging effect nito sa ating computation? Siyempre, laging pinanggagalingan natin is magkano yung carrying amount niya, no, na on December 31, 2021 ay nakabase sa ano ito, fair value less cost to sell. Sige. Pause the video and then play it. Ito po ang ating solution. Dito tayo manggagaling, no? Tapos syempre, ito huwag kakalimutan, baka makakalimutan po ninyo mag-update ng ating accumulated depreciation kasi 2 taon yung nag-lapse, yung accumulated depreciation mo hindi na 500, kung hindi, 125, di ba? Times 2, 250, dagdag sa 500. O kaya nga dito makikita ninyo, the asset as of December 31, 2023 is 75% depreciated. So, eto na siya. 1,750,250. So, eto yung magiging reference natin para makompute magkano yung updated na cost, no? And then updated accumulated depreciation based on this asset fair value na 350. If this is 25%, edi 1.4, no, ang cost and 1,050,000 yung accumulated depreciation. At ito po yung ating magiging increase na pagbabasehan ng ating mga journal entries. Subject to, syempre etong 100, subject to what? Assessment, no? May mga revaluation, may mga reversal ba tayo ng revaluation? Okay? But in this case, tingnan natin, ang increase mo sa revaluation 100, pero 100,000 ba natin yan ifo-fully credit sa revaluation surplus? Or baka, since meron tayong ni-recognize na impairment loss dito na 100,000, baka meron din tayong kailangang i-reverse naman ngayon na impairment loss. And if you will see here, on the other side, sa ating computation, meron tayong 3 reference based on the original. Sorry. Ito yon, yung updated natin. Okay? Based on the original yung nasa gitna. Na kung sakaling walang mga nangyaring mga impairment in the past and we are still using the original 1.2 and following the original annual depreciation, dapat ang carrying amount ko ngayon ay 300,000. Saan ba ako nanggaling? Okay? Anong pinagagalingan ko? Ito yung before evaluation ng 2023, ito yung after evaluation. Hindi ko pala nalagyan ng label. Okay? So yung 1231 dito before assessment ng impairment, ito yung after assessment. Kaya nga ang fair value mo dito 350, sa original 300, pero yung pinanggalingan mo 250. So yung total na 100 ay ito yun, 250 and 350. Pero sa pagitan natin ay meron tayong original. Tingnan niyo ito. Limit ay ito, i-reference natin yung carrying amount ng original. So from 250 to 350, that is 100,000. Pero yung 50,000 is reversal ng impairment loss previously recognized. And the other 50,000, yun yung i-credit natin sa revaluation surplus. Ayan. And then this is your journal entry para dito. Debit, equipment, credit, accumulated depreciation, tapos credit revaluation surplus, and credit recovery of previous impairment loss, which is your impairment gain. P&L. Ito P&L, no? Ito revaluation surplus. Ayan. Saan natin nakikita yung revaluation surplus? Syempre, ano yan? Nasa ano yan? Nasa statement of comprehensive income. Okay, for the comprehensive income portion. Nasa statement of changes in equity for the equity section. Paki-revisit ha. Paki-double check. That is also your responsibility on your part to double check. Now, so hindi ko na po ito nilagyan ng graph, no? Pero pag gagawa kayo ng graph, sumobra kasi 250 sa baba, 300 sa gitna, yung original, 350 sa taas. Siyempre, for the remaining 2 years, no, 350 divided by 2. Okay? Yun na yung gagawan mo ng panibagong linya. Okay. So, we are done, no? With the recognition and measurement ng impairment loss and subsequent reversal thereto. Now, before we end our session, let's be reminded with the 2 additional notes, no, discussed in past 36, impairment loss ng CGU. Okay, cash generating unit, which somehow I was able to explain when I discussed your intangible assets, no? Pero ayan, cash generating unit, no, isang grupo kasi ito. So, sinabi natin, 'di ba, before nung diniscuss natin yung intangible assets, that kung sakaling may impairment loss, una nating gagawin is kung magkano yung balanse ng goodwill, no, na na-recognize natin because of tawag nito, business combination acquired by way of a purchase of a company. So kaya nagkaroon tayo ng balanse sa goodwill. Doon muna natin i-apply. So pag na-zero, saka natin i-apply sa ibang mga assets within that cash generating unit on the basis of their carrying amounts. Kung may reversal po tayo ng impairment loss, hindi po pasok ha, hindi natin nire-reverse yung impairment ng goodwill because impairment of goodwill, no, is not reversed. Okay? So, subsequent reversal of impairment ay prorated doon sa carrying amounts ng mga assets maliban sa goodwill. Okay? So, yun lamang po ano. Pero take note, in paragraph 123 ng standard, yung carrying amount ng asset ay dapat hindi lalagpas above the lower of the recoverable amount and the carrying amount. Okay? So, for my actual students and especially, mga problem solving natin may be discussed on premise, no, sa campus, and we will see in the future if I can incorporate some additional illustrations, no, to cover questions such as this topic. Okay, so yun lamang. Ito lang, well, yun din naman yun, no, the amount of the reversal of the impairment loss that would otherwise have been allocated to the asset shall be allocated pro rata to the other assets of the unit except for goodwill, which was already mentioned here and emphasized na. Okay, so that's for impairment loss reversal ng CGU. Impairment loss ng goodwill, ayan na, wag kakalimutan, it was already mentioned in the intangible asset standard on PAS 38. Nakalagay pa rin naman dito sa PAS 36. Never, no, shall not be reversed in subsequent period. And that, okay, so eto, no, is also referenced in PAS 38 on intangible asset. Kasi ang sinasabi dito sa paragraph 125 ng standard na ito, kung meron mang reversal, no, increase in the recoverable amount of goodwill, likely daw that is because of the internally generated goodwill instead of reversal ng impairment loss. Tandaan po ninyo, in accordance with PAS 38, internally generated goodwill is never recognized, no? In-expense natin yon. And Okay? Anong sinasabi doon? We only recognize goodwill 'pag in-acquire on a business combination. Okay? So, yun lamang po. Maraming salamat. This ends our part 2 discussion ng PAS 36. I hope nakatulong po itong aking explanation ng mga nasa libro at nasa standard para mas lalo pong lumalim ang understanding ninyo sa standard na ito on impairment of assets. So hanggang dito po muna tayo. Maraming salamat. Bye-bye.